Release your spirit and you feel good. Chapter 1. Slow down, be real, forget about all this artificial self-help guru garbage. The Death of Common Sense from renz.com/general92/death-of.htm. Today we mourn the passing of a beloved old friend, Common Sense, who has been with us for many years. No one knows for sure how old he was, since his birth records were long ago lost in bureaucratic red tape. He will be remembered as having cultivated such valuable lessons as knowing when to come in out of the rain, why the early bird gets the worm, life isn't always fair, and maybe it was my fault. Common Sense lived by simple, sound financial policies: don't spend more than you can earn. Reliable strategies: adults, not children, are in charge. His health began to deteriorate rapidly when well-intentioned but overbearing regulations were set in place. Reports of a 6-year-old boy charged with sexual harassment for kissing a classmate. Teens suspended from school for using mouthwash after lunch. And a teacher fired for reprimanding an unruly student only worsened his condition. Common Sense lost ground when parents attacked teachers for doing the job that they themselves had failed to do in disciplining their unruly children. It declined even further when schools were required to get parental consent to administer sun lotion or an aspirin to a student, but could not inform parents when a student became pregnant. Wanted to have an abortion. Common Sense lost the will to live as the churches became businesses. Criminals received better treatment than their victims. Common Sense took a beating when you couldn't defend yourself from a burglar in your own home. The burglar could sue you for assault. Common Sense finally gave up the will to live after a woman failed to realize that a steaming cup of coffee was hot. She spilled a little in her lap. Was promptly awarded a huge settlement. Common Sense was preceded in death by his parents' truth. Trust, by his wife; discretion, by his daughter; responsibility, by his son; reason. He is survived by his 4 step-brothers. I know my rights. I want it now. Someone else is to blame. I'm a victim. Not many attended his funeral because so few realized he was gone. If you still remember him, pass this on. If not, join the majority. Do nothing. Rules to live by and Mathern's laws and rules at doyletix.com. Go to doyletix.com and find some funny true ironic stuff. Rules to live by. Basic assumption: A. For every action there is an equal and opposite criticism. Law of desire: the more you want it, the quicker the letdown after you get it. Law of genius: no boss will keep an employee who is right all the time. Law of management: everyone you need is always someplace else. Family axiom: one child is not enough, but 2 children are far too many. Rule of searching: you can always find what you're not looking for. Subcommittee law: if you leave the room, you're elected. Observation of life: everyone who does not work has a scheme that does. Freeway axiom: the driver behind you wants to travel 5 miles per hour faster. Party law: the more food you prepare, the less your guests will eat. Law of taxes: whatever goes up, stays up. Roman rule: the one who says it can't be done shouldn't interrupt the one doing it. Law of climatology: wind velocity increases directly with the cost of the hairdo. Dumb luck rule: you can always hit what you don't aim at. Working man's paradox: doing it the hard way is always easier. Law of discovery: all great discoveries are made by mistake. Law of revelation: the hidden flaw never remains hidden. Law of life's highway: if everything is coming your way, you're in the wrong lane. Special occasion law: nothing ever comes out as planned. Law of management: you never know who's right, but you always know who's in charge. Rule of supervision: the one time you lean back, relax is the one time the boss walks by. Observation of life, Part 2, the best laid plans of mice. Men are usually about equal. Computer law: the most useless tasks are the most fun. Basic assumption: B. The good ones are taken. Salary axiom, the pay raise is just large enough to increase your taxes. Kitchen rule, anything is edible if it's chopped finely enough. Observation of life, Part 3, you can't fall off the floor. Observation of life, Part 4, it takes children 3 years to learn. Part basic assumption, see don't worry. Nobody gives a hoot anyway. Law of statistics, no matter what goes wrong, there is always someone that knew it would. Law of assembly, the one piece that holds the whole thing together will be missing. Army axiom, any order that can be misunderstood has been misunderstood. Desiderata, the poem. Go placidly among the noise and haste. Remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly. Listen to others, even the dull and ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons, they are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble, it is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, everywhere life is full of heroism. Especially, don't feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity, disenchantment, it is perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But don't distress yourself with imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees, the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore be at peace with God, whatever you conceive Him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be careful. Strive to be happy. Anonymous, supposedly found in Old St. Paul's Church, Baltimore, Maryland, 1692. Chapter 2. Pearls of Wisdom from Past Thinkers. Benjamin Franklin's 13 Virtues. daringtolifully.com/Ben-Franklin-13-Virtues, download a chart. Temperance. Don't eat or drink too much. Silence. Speak only when it's useful. Avoid trifling conversation. Hold the tongue. Order. Let all things have their places, let each part of your business have its time. Resolution. Perform what you ought, perform without fail what you resolve. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Frugality. Make no expense but to do good to others or yourself. Waste nothing. Industry. Be busy and useful in a practical way. Cut off all unnecessary actions like social media and TV. Sincerity. Don't lie. If you speak, say something useful. Speak accordingly. Justice. Don't mess with people. Do what you have to do as part of your duties, be it work, family, etc. Moderation. Avoid extremes. Cleanliness. No uncleanliness in body, clothes, or habitation. Tranquility. Be not disturbed at trifles or at accidents. Don't cry over what you cannot control. Chastity. Don't have sex with someone by coercion or force. Don't have sex with someone if it will hurt your spouse. Humility. Imitate Jesus. Don't be arrogant, aggressive, overbearing, and insolent. Dante Alighieri's 7 Deadly Sins from the Inferno. Lust, lust for attention and sex. Gluttony, lust for self-indulgence. Sloth, lust for avoidance, laziness. Envy, lust for possessions and personal gain. Wrath, lust for vengeance. Greed, lust for money and power. Pride, lust for greatness and supremacy. The 7 capital virtues, also called the 7 contrary virtues or the 7 heavenly virtues. Chastity, purity, abstinence. Temperance, humanity, equanimity. Charity, benevolence, generosity, sacrifice. Diligence, persistence, effortfulness, ethics. Patience, forgiveness, mercy. Kindness, satisfaction, compassion. Humility, bravery, modesty, reverence. Marcel Proust's questionnaire from the 19th century. daringtolivefolly.com/Proust-questionnaire. Fill out the questionnaire to help reveal a person's true nature, their lovers or a friend's. What is your idea of perfect happiness? What is your greatest fear? Which historical figure do you most identify with? Which living person do you most admire? What is the trait you most deplore in yourself? What is the trait you most deplore in others? What is your greatest extravagance? What is your favorite journey? What do you consider the most overrated virtue? On what occasion do you lie? What do you dislike the most about your appearance? Which living person do you most despise? Which words or phrases do you most overuse? What is your greatest regret? What or who is the greatest love of your life? When and where were you happiest? Which talent would you most like to have? What is your current state of mind? If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? If you could change one thing about your family, what would it be? What do you consider your greatest achievement? If you were to die and come back as a person or thing, what do you think it would be? What is your most treasured possession? What do you regard as the lowest depth of misery? Where would you like to live? What is your favorite occupation? What is your most marked characteristic? What is the quality you most like in a man? What is the quality you most like in a woman? What do you most value in your friends? Who are your favorite writers? Who is your favorite hero of fiction? Who are your heroes in real life? What are your favorite names? What is it that you most dislike? How would you like to die? What is your favorite motto? Pearls of Wisdom from the book Forbes Epigrams, 1000 Thoughts on Life and Business, 1922. Finds the entire book at archive.org/stream/Forbes-AP-grams 10008375MBP/Forbes-AP-grams 10008375MBP_DJVU.text. A dose of adversity is often as needful as a dose of medicine. A recipe for happiness: give and forgive. Ability and reliability make a good team. After all, you have to give full, fair value or you won't last. Any time is a good time to start carrying out a new idea. Any man can face one day's trouble. Are you sure your troubles are not mostly self-created? Aspire then perspire. Attend to the foundation first. Be your own efficiency expert by doing your job the best way it can be done. Be sure to distinguish between having self-respect and having conceit. Being a thoroughbred doesn't depend upon your ancestors but upon you. Davison, his formula for getting ahead. Diamonds are chunks of coal that stuck to their job. Do you make up a mental balance sheet of yourself every night? Do, strive, seed, serve. Don't talk about your abilities, demonstrate them. Don't just float or you'll sink. Don't stand still. Don't wait for something to turn up. Don't intend, do. Don't expect to reap the moment you sow. Don't sit down and take what comes, go after what you want. Don't worry so very much about what people think of you, but see to it that they ought to think well of you. Education that leads to action is better. Education that leads to knowledge is fine. Every act is a boomerang. Expect to have to do a lot of hard hammering and chiseling and scraping and polishing. Feel discouraged? Remember, the goal worth reaching isn't reached easily. Get your motives, your principles, your ambitions right, and nothing can utterly daunt you. Getting on is largely a matter of getting up each time you are knocked down. Go after something worth going after. Go and turn it up. Golf without bunkers and hazards would be tame and monotonous. Good habits will in time make the going comfortable and easy. Good judgment is the raw material of success. Great achievement must be preceded by great preparation. Have respect for others or you will not have the respect of others. Have a goal other than gold or you'll end up a disappointed mortal. He who has good health, good humor, and no debts is not poor. He replied in 3 short words, keep at it. Hope, of course, but hustle, also. How about now? Hustle, or you'll get left behind. I asked the president of the Central Union Trust Company of New York, George W. If you don't have patience, you are never likely to have much else. If you have ceased to smile, you have lost out in the game of life, no matter what your bank account may be. If you do the best and the most you can today, don't worry about tomorrow. If you're not garnering a proper amount of fruit, examine well your roots. If you had no difficulties to triumph over, you would have no triumph. If you're sufficiently anxious to see and seize opportunities, you will have little time to note or talk about the shortcomings of others. If there be an elixir of life, it is laughter. Impatience has prevented many a fellow from taking firm root in the soil of success. Improve your mind and your output will improve. Improvement begins with I. In making your living, try to make yourself agreeable to others and thus help to make the world go round more harmoniously. In school you didn't expect to advance unless you studied. Inward strength will succor and sustain you. It doesn't help a great deal to know more than others if you don't put your knowledge to work. It is poor policy to be so busy working as to be too busy to think. It is better to err on the side of initiative than inactivity. It's noble to succeed, but it's nobler still to help the other fellow to succeed. It's polite to apologize, but it's more polite not to do anything calling for an apology. It's trying to carry tomorrow's, too, that weighs us down. Learn and you lead. Life is like a bank, you get out of it what you put into it with interest added. Listen to the advice of wise people, then do your own thinking and follow your own judgment. Loaf and you lean. Look forward and press forward. Make this thought part of your mental equipment. No man is completely a failure as long as he retains faith that he will one day succeed. One investment that pays good dividends is stick-to-itiveness. Organize, systematize, deputize, realize. Our eyes are placed in front because it is more important to look ahead than look back. Purpose and perspiration are a winning team. Show nerve, not nerves. Show me a happy person and you show me a busy one. Strength comes from struggle, weakness from ease. Sturdy trees grow slowly. Success usually is a plant of slow growth, although its flowering may seem sudden. Success is nothing but doing your full duty to the very best of your ability. The man who sells his health for wealth makes a poor bargain. The whole philosophy of life can be summed up in 2 words, be kind. The man who has done his level best and who is conscious that he has done his best, is a success, even though the world may write him down a failure. The man without a savings account is usually a man of little account. The brain is capable of becoming just as big as you take the pains to make it. The real satisfaction comes from the struggle, not from the reward. The longer you gaze on an obstacle, the bigger it becomes. The really big man never allows his head to get too big. The thing the lack of which makes you so unhappy, are you sure you would be happy if you had it? The most profitless thing to manufacture is excuses. The first is indispensable. The second is contemptible. The best investment for a young man is investment in his own education. The raw material of success is thought. The only hopeless failure is the person who has ceased to strive for success. The promising man keeps his promise. There is no higher efficiency than doing the right thing in the right way. There's only one letter of difference between one EARNING and EARNING. There's a difference between living and being alive. Think not of yourself as the architect of your career but as the sculptor. Thinking costs nothing, yet creates everything. To avert pain later in life, take pains. To get, give. To grow, it must be fed and exercised. To fill your job, fill your mind. To get more, make yourself worth more. To get more, don't only work more but work more intelligently. To become a top-notcher, keep in top-notch fettle mentally and physically. To make headway, improve your head. To win and keep friends, be one. To score, set up a target. To rise above the crowd, crowd your days and hours with study, observation, effort, and resolution. To be well thought of, think of others. Unless you deposit wealth in your mind, you'll never be truly rich. Water that is stagnant becomes worthless. Whatever rewards come are only trimmings. When an unpleasant task lies ahead of you, get it behind you without delay. Which are you doing? You can't build a skyscraper on a faulty foundation. You drift towards the rocks. You have to row to reach success. You aspire to become a boss. Then need no bossing. Your income depends on your output. Your boss may determine your salary, but you yourself determine your worth.